Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for 502 Sports. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of 502 Sports. I'm your host, Adam Hitt, and I'm joined in studio by Adam Wilkinson and Jimmy Nolan. We have a great show for you today. We're going to talk a lot of golf, including Justin Thomas, the ISCO Championship here at Hurstbourne Country Club, Lou City, Racing Louisville, and some of the fall sports that we are most looking forward to because it's almost time. In August, those sports will start kicking off. As always, we want to thank our friends at Take Tie for supporting 502 Sports, and you can support them as well by using the 502 Sports promo codes that you can find on our social media pages. All right, guys, so we've had a little holiday break here at 502 Sports. We had a great Independence Day weekend, but now it's time to get back into the grind of the sports seasons that are coming up. But how was your all's holiday? Did you guys have a good break?
I had a fantastic break, man. It's always nice to be around family and friends during the holidays, and our neighborhood put on quite a display of fireworks. So, that's always nice to go to the cookout, kick back, and watch fireworks take over the night sky.
Yeah, it was a great break. Very busy. Had daughter's birthday parties, both of them. So during the 4th of July weekend, so that weekend was nonstop going but it was a great time.
Yeah, I think our house has got a bunch of fireworks shells in the gutters I'm going to have to clean out from the neighborhood fireworks, so that's always good.
That's fun.
But yeah, it was a good break, and I know we didn't have a show, so we have a lot to talk about, but it does feel like it's a little bit of a lull in the sports world right now until all the fall sports kick off, but we're going to talk about that a little bit too. But let's start off with talking about golf for a second. Specifically, I really want to focus on talking about Justin Thomas. As most people know, he went to St. X. He's from Kentucky, so naturally he has a big following here locally. Amongst golf fans and just people from Louisville and the surrounding area as well. But the past few years have not gone great for him, right? He's been in a little bit of a slump the last, I would say, 2 or 3 years now. But he's really come back strong. He won the RBC Heritage in April. That was his first win in, I think, 3 years. So it's really, really big for him to get back. So, Dubs, I want to start off with you. From your perspective, for a guy that's coming back, coming off of a losing streak of about 3 years, you haven't won on tour. Can you talk about kind of the mental relief, I guess, of winning and getting that kind of off your back and getting back into the groove of playing for Justin Thomas?
Well, it's probably one of the hardest things to do in golf is to kind of continue on a good streak like that, but it's not uncommon for players to go, a year, 2 years to not win. But somebody at his talent level, yeah, you probably expect to have a win every year, if not multiple wins. But I know he's been working really hard on his game over the last couple years, and for him to get back in the winning circle was, I'm sure, extremely gratifying to him. Also, first time as a father, doing that is also a big. Yeah, you got a big life change like that, so not being able to spend all of your time out on the golf course, you got other commitments that you got to take care of. So, but yeah, I'm sure. It was really satisfying for him.
It's just something he can share, with another member of the family too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I bet that was, like you said, satisfying, but it was also probably a sense of relief too.
Yeah.
He had gone a few years without, claiming a trophy, and now he gets to do it, and he gets to share it with his, his new family. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Adam, I know. You're the best golfer of the group here, right?
Well,
so
I'm
gonna just make
I'm
gonna make a blanket statement, and that's a fact. So
I have been working on my putting game, sir, and I hope to break 100 very soon.
That would be fantastic. Let us know. We'll post your score on the website.
I'll keep everybody posted.
It'll be great. But Adam, from a mentality perspective, if you go through a streak where you haven't won or you haven't been playing well, like from your standpoint, like how. If you've ever had those kind of struggles, I don't know if you have when you're playing, if you've ever had those kind of struggles, like how do you mentally get back into just
Yeah.
to simplify things.
Yeah, I've never had those struggles because I'm just that good. No,
Oh,
I'm
good
kidding.
gosh.
That's clearly not true. It's just no. You start thinking in your head of you get so many different swing thoughts in there, or try this, or you try different things, and next thing you know, you make things 10 times worse.
Right.
You're trying to fix so many different things, or you spend so much time fixing one thing that other aspects of your game start going sideways.
What do you mean fixing things? Like what?
Like
what
if you
some of the things he's
concentrate
working
most of your time on putting,
on? Okay.
something like that, then long game driver iron play could go sideways very easily if you spend more time working on one aspect of it, or short game, the same thing. Or if you spend all your time on the driving range hitting drivers, yeah, you be really good, but then you 3-putt all the time like you do. So
Well, if I'm lucky, yeah.
yeah,
I am the king of 3-putts, folks.
But
Yes,
no,
that is true.
yeah, that is.
Hey, thanks, man.
No, kind of getting back to Justin Thomas a little bit though. But one thing he's gone through. I think he's on his third caddy this year.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's a good point.
Which I think probably plays a bigger impact on it than most people realize, because when you're out on the golf course, it's just the two of you.
Right.
So his two best tournaments this year, the Masters, which he did very well, and then he came back and won the following week down at in Harbor Town.
So the PGA Championship was the other one where he finished 8th.
Okay. Yeah.
He missed the cut with the Masters, but yeah. So he won the Heritage, and then he was 8th in the PGA.
How much does honestly, how much does a caddy really help you? Like, other than giving you yardage where you are, make club selection and where to aim?
It could be a
like,
lot. I mean,
is that more than that? I mean,
oh yeah. I mean, because it's the only person you're out there being able to talk to with, essentially. So it's not necessarily even talking about golf stuff. If you do something, you start talking about random things, kind of take your mind off of something, or having the confidence that, okay, yeah, the caddy, he's going to give me the right number, or you don't have to go back and double check everything. Plays a
Just
lot
a
of
big trust
aspect.
issue,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. Not that he doesn't trust whoever his current caddy is now, but it's just more of a comfort thing.
Okay.
With that, but I do think that plays a big role into it. But yeah, when he won at Harbor Town, I think it was Joe Greiner was his caddy at the time, but then he left. He had already signed to go with Colin Morikawa, so he's now on his bag.
Yeah.
So he had to go back through and find another caddy. I think what happened at the Masters is the original caddy got hurt back, and then that's when he got Joe Greiner there. But then, yeah, the following week went to Harbor Town, won, and then had a couple other good tournaments with him, and then ended up going. He had a commitment to go to Colin Morikawa.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting just looking at his results this year. So he's got seven top tens. If you look at somebody, Scotty Scheffler's obviously leading the points race right now for the FedEx points, but Scotty Scheffler has 3 wins on tour, 11 top tens, and he's right there. I mean, Justin Thomas, he's got 1 win on tour, but he's got 7 top tens, so he's putting himself in contention consistently, which is one of the things that he wasn't doing he hasn't been doing the last couple of years. He just hasn't been as consistent.
Yeah, well, and I don't know, like I said, if he was dealing with any ailments, but you can definitely tell that he's swinging a better club this year.
Right.
Like you said, he's a lot more consistent. He's 15 tournaments. He looks like he's made 13 cuts. Okay, so he's definitely making the weekend play, which is great. That's that's one of the goals that you want to set for yourself, and then go for your top 10, top 5 finish, and hopefully put yourself in contention for a win, which he does have one. He's got 3 runners up, so he's been there, and like you said, 7 top 10 finishes in 15 tournaments.
Right.
So you look at a guy who's batting almost 500 on, making the cut, or sorry, on making the top 10, and then he's got 4 top 2 finishes. 3 runners up, 1 victory in 15 tournaments. That's really good. That's really good. It's almost 33% in finishing top 2. You ask any other golfer out there, they're going to take that.
Yeah.
Maybe not Scotty Scheffler because he thinks he can win them all.
Right.
Then again, a lot of these guys think they can win them all. But yeah, Scotty's just on another level. He's getting results. But JT's not too far behind this year. He's 5th in the FedEx standing points, So he's definitely having a much improved year.
I don't remember the exact stat, but I know after JT won the RBC Heritage, I think he and Scotty were tied for the most wins in the last 5 years. And then Scotty has won multiple times since then.
Yeah.
To kind of go to take that lead back. But JT and Scotty, I think it was players around 30 or younger, had the most wins in the last 5-6 years or so.
Okay.
But
well, we're definitely rooting on JT.
He's got immense talent.
The homegrown kid there.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the talent to hit every shot imaginable and can do it. He's one who can go as low as possible. I know he's shot 59 once. He's got the U.S. Open record for the lowest round. So he's got the ability to do it and do it in the big tournaments. So it's just a matter of being able to get it together all 4 rounds. And if he can, his
sky's the limit.
Is going to be.
Right.
I'll put it up with anybody's. So
well, he's got some work to do in the Scottish Open right now. He's tied for 42nd. They are playing as we talk about this right now. He's 2 under, tied for 42nd. But you've got Rory McIlroy leading at 12 under at the moment right now, and then we also have Scotty Scheffler, who's obviously leading the FedEx points. He's at 8 under, so he's right there as well. In contention. So this will be a really interesting finish to the Scottish Open. But yeah, JT's got definitely some work to do here today. But just the overall for the season, that he has really improved. You can see the confidence is back. He's consistent, almost every time out. So yeah, we're definitely rooting for our hometown, home state PGA Tour golfer here in Justin Thomas, and hoping he does well here the rest of the day in the Scottish. So we do want to shift gears a little bit and talk about more local golf here in Louisville, because obviously we've had a lot of big events going on at Valhalla. We've had the PGA, we've had the Ryder Cups, the Ryder Cup a few years ago, and then right now this weekend we also have the ISCO Championship going on at Hurstbourne Country Club.
ISCO.
It's fun to say. That's right. Yeah.
You knew where I was going with that, right?
But I mean, it's really cool. I think it's another, it's not the highest profile PGA Tour event, but it's another high profile event for Louisville at one of the great golf clubs that we have here, country clubs that we have here in Louisville. And so wanted to kick it over to you all. Just thoughts, first of all, on the ISCO Championship being here, right? So it was moved. It used to be, I think, in Nicholasville, at Keene Country Club, I think was the name of it.
I think it was.
So that it's interesting that it's moved around, but just a great opportunity for Hurstbourne Country Club to host this event, and wanted to get your all's thoughts of it being here in Louisville and getting a chance to see some of our local players play.
Well, I think anytime you have a chance to put your city on the map, and get recognition, hopefully in a positive light, as opposed to the last tournament that was held here, where there were some negative aspects going with
Free Scotty.
Free Scotty. Yes, associated, with our city. Obviously, nobody wanted that to happen. But moving on. Hopefully this term can go on without a hitch. We can get some positive light back on our city, and hopefully the PGA, keeps wanting to come back and bring tournaments and the best players in the world back to our city. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Hurstbourne Country Club, the course has actually held up well against these players. Nobody's really kind of tearing it up, which is, in a way, good, something you like to see.
Yeah.
That outside of Valhalla, there are other really good courses here in the city. But yeah, hopefully PGA does want to continue to come back, because I think the city and Louisville as a whole does a really good job of putting on sporting events.
Yes.
Oh yeah. From the Derby to the PGA, having college championships here.
Yeah. Final Fours. And
yeah.
The city knows how to put on good sporting events, big events.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just good for the city. Not to mention the economy.
Yeah.
So we want them here for sure.
Not as good for traffic on around Hurstbourne Country Club. It's been a little bit of a mess this weekend, but yeah, it's interesting because this does have a $4 million purse, so it's a big opportunity for some of these guys, especially the ones that don't get a chance on the PGA Tour week in and week out.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about this is it does give you a 2-year exemption on the PGA Tour and an invitation to the next PGA Championship. So the winner of this event, the ISCO Championship, will get that access. But unlike some of the other PGA Tour events, it doesn't give you an automatic qualifier to the Masters, which is a little different. But it is really interesting that these guys have a chance. Even some of the local players, getting a chance to go out there at Hurstbourne, which I'm sure they're familiar with. Right? They've played the course, they've been there, they know. So it's got to be really exciting for these guys to go and play. Adam, I think you said you played at Hurstbourne, but it's been quite a while ago, right?
It's been probably 20 plus years since I've played.
Yeah.
I think it was in the early 2000s. I've maybe even done one since then, but they had a major renovation to the course and a lot of changes were done back then, but I couldn't talk much about the details of it, but it is a very tough course.
It sounds like we need to try to go play. Although after hosting a PGA Tour event, the price is probably going to go up. So
you got to know somebody out there too. Yeah, who do we know out there?
Let's make some calls.
Yes.
We go play. But yeah, no, just really cool for Louisville to continue getting some of these high profile, especially golf. I mean, I think you're right. Like Louisville is a great event, especially sporting event town. We seem to put those things on really, really, really well, but. Golf in particular, I think just with all the hype, especially with Valhalla, the publicity and the national attention that gets, it's really cool. And I did want to correct. So I said earlier Keene Country Club, but it's actually Keene Trace Golf Club is what it's called in Nicholasville, is where the ISCO Championship had been played previously. But go ahead, Adam.
No, I was going to say give a shout out to Blake Watts out. He's the head pro out at Hurstbourne. He was at Wildwood a few years ago.
What's the name?
Blake Watts.
Blake Watts, okay.
Yeah, he's the head pro out there. They've done a great job. The course looks like it's in great shape. But yeah, I don't think they could have had this any more prepared and ready than they did. So
yeah.
But yeah, shout out to him and the staff and everybody out there.
So final day here, right, of the ISCO Championship. We know Paul Peterson is leading. I think they had to finish up round 3 this morning because of the weather yesterday. So Adam, what's your prediction here? Do you think he holds on and wins this today, or do you think somebody else comes up and takes?
I think we're going to see somebody come up and get him. There seems to be, looking at how these rounds are going, there's a lot of trouble spots out there, so you got to be very careful.
Right.
Vince Whaley, I'd like to see him. He's, local Kentucky guy from Lexington.
Yeah.
He's tied 4th.
He's only 2 shots back. Yeah.
Yeah. See him come up and be great to see him win.
Yeah.
Kind of a home state.
Absolutely. We've got there's some other fairly local guys on that made the cut, right?
Yeah, there are. You got Josh Teeter. I think he's from Danville, Kentucky. Went to Moorhead, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple others that had made the cut as well. Steven Stallings Jr. I think he's from Louisville, went to UK. He's not playing as well as he hoped to, but he did make the cut. Moving day kind of unfortunately went the wrong direction, but it happens.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have, it's good to see some of these guys making the cut, at a course that they're probably, fairly familiar with, especially in the area. So it'll be interesting to see, what happens here on the final day. I think Paul Peterson has a 1-shot lead. I think Luke List, is in second place at the moment, just 1 shot back. Luke List is one for me to watch just because he does have a couple PGA Tour wins under his belt, whereas Paul Peterson has won 5 professional wins, but they've all been Europe or, the Japan Tour.
Yeah.
So, maybe it makes a difference. Maybe it doesn't mentally. Who knows? But the interesting thing though here is that if Luke List wins, both of his 2 tour wins were in playoffs. So he has not won a tour event outside of a playoff. So so it'll be interesting. So maybe I would put a little bit of money on that if I was a gambling person here and say that Luke List is going to win in a playoff since he's in contention and his only 2 wins have come in the plaffs. So
I wonder what those odds would be.
I know.
You win in a playoff.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
So, kind of staying on the theme of golf, I really wanted to ask a couple questions to you guys about the overall structure. You know, we've got the PGA Tour. We know that Live Golf, you know, has become a big thing with all the money that's being poured into that league and given to the players by, you know, basically the Saudi Arabia, the government, you know, investment fund that is basically funding that along with numerous other sports around the world. They're trying to get their hands into sports everywhere. But I think one of the questions that I had was around they had an attempted merger in 2023. They announced that they were going to merge and try to combine their events and create one large kind of tour, essentially. As of now, that hasn't happened. They've had a lot of back and forths, but nothing has really been arranged. So they're working on separate seasons right now, separate tours, separate events. But I know when that was announced, there was a lot of animosity, especially on the PGA Tour players' side, because of all the money that was given to the Live players, and they remained loyal, and they felt like they were getting the short end of the stick. But wanted to kind of open it up to you guys. What are your all's thoughts on that? You know, should they continue to work on a merger? Should they stay separate? What are your all's viewpoints on that?
From a fan aspect of it, being able to see both the Live and the PGA Tour guys playing in the same event, yeah, I would like to see that more than just 4 times a year. So I hope they do find an agreement to where we can get them together more than just 4 times a year. Or the other thing is do a kind of like a Ryder Cup type deal, PGA Tour versus Live. I think for TV aspects, that could draw a lot of interest, a lot of money. I think that would be fun to see as well. I don't see that happening because I don't think either the PGA Tour in specific probably wants to do that. But I think it would be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on it just because your Live golfers are some of the best in the world. And when it comes down to whenever you tune in to watch some of these sporting events, actually all sporting events, all professional sporting events, you want to see the best.
Right.
But then it comes to the fact of they defected essentially from the PGA to take a really big paycheck. These guys were getting tens of millions of dollars, some of them up in the hundreds of millions of dollars to go play in this Saudi Arabia-backed league. And there is some speculation as to why the Saudi government is getting into this, and it's not a good look. Essentially, they're taking big paychecks coming from a corrupt and inhumane government that is known for harsh and ruthless tactics against its own citizens and others. And it's just kind of, the divide is, you have your PGA players that are basically saying, hey, don't you care who's writing your paycheck? And some of them are, they aren't the best players in the world. Like maybe they're ranked 90th, and here's Live Golf telling them they're going to cut you a paycheck for more money than you're ever going to see playing in the PGA tournament. And of course, they get to do what they love. They still get to play golf, but they get to make an insane amount of money for themselves and their family, which I totally get. But at the end of the day, it's, do you care who's cutting your checks?
At some point, everybody's got their price. So I'd
yes
and no.
That's one of my quotes too. Is everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man?
It does. And somebody, I don't remember who had the quote. It was a good quote. Is they're going to be paying that money out regardless to somebody. Somebody's going to take it. So that's going to be pretty much. We know that's happening. They're going to have that money. They're going to pay to somebody. So if somebody's offering you $50 million to go do that, it's going to be hard to say no because it's not just life-changing money, it's generation-changing money, multiple generations. So I don't necessarily blame the players for doing that, for taking the money because, it does change their lives, their kids' lives, their grandkids, and possibly generations after that. Yeah. You could look at it on the political side of things. That is it the right thing to do? Is it not? But there's also not just American players that have done it. I think when Cam Smith went over, he was number 2 in the world. He had just won the Open Championship. being from Australia, he's probably not looking at the political side of things as much as somebody like maybe a Bryson DeChambeau would, being from the U.S.
Yeah.
And I think Bryson probably did it for different reasons. I think he's probably able to see it as a way for him to really grow the game how he wants to, and he's been able to do that with his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
The way he's growing the game via social media is something that he's probably not able to do on the PGA Tour, because PGA Tour takes up so much more of your time playing week in, week out.
So
you got
you-
to play 4 rounds versus 3 rounds. It frees him up to do that. So he's taken that money and probably used it to grow the game more than any other on the Live Tour in an aspect.
Well, and to put this into perspective here, so, granted, this is the largest contract that the Live Golf offered. Max Homa, he got $300 million to leave the PGA and join Live Golf.
Right.
The biggest purse, the biggest money that you can win a single tournament is it's the 2025 Players Championship. The winner gets a $4.5 million payday.
John Rahm's was $500 million.
Oh, did he get 500?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, excuse me then. Then that even further drives home my point.
Max Homa, he may have had the largest contract that was turned down, because he
I
turned
see.
that down. But John Rahm's, his was $500 million.
Right,
Which is,
Okay.
Are you going to say no to $500 million?
Well, there you go. But
I'm gonna
but see
catch
here's
some
but,
horse
here,
for you if you say
but
no.
here's the thing.
I would have said yes to $500 million.
I don't know if I would. And I was one of the kids, growing up that would, run into a brick wall if the money was right. But it's also a matter of where does the money come from? And that matters to me. Everybody's going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have some of these tournaments where if you win, you're going to take home, $4, $5, $6 million, as opposed to a guaranteed, let's just say $50 million. Not even the biggest, contract, just $50 million.
Right.
You've got to win the best tournament, the hardest tournament, roughly 10 times just to equal the amount of money that this Saudi Arabia government is offering you.
Yeah.
You're right. It is generational changing money. But everybody's got a price for the $1 million man, but some things aren't for sale.
That's
you
fair.
know, but that also comes into, personal, not beliefs, but just personal
Convictions or
yeah, exactly.
your moral
matters?
compass, or
What matters
Right.
to you most?
Right.
Absolutely. Would I have done it? Oh gosh, I really want to say no. I wouldn't have taken the money. But yeah, when you're
Right.
bringing out numbers like 300 and 500 million, that's not only your family, that's your grandkids. That's not only them, it's their grandkids, and so forth and so forth and so forth. So, it is a lot of money. And for some of these guys that didn't have a shot in hell at making $50 million with the PGA Tour, yeah, like it's hard to
your
turn
point,
down.
To your point,
Yeah.
last year Scotty Scheffler won 7 times. He won a total, just only the tournament winnings was a total of $29.2 million.
And this is
before
the
any bonuses
best player
or
in the
anything.
world, or
Yeah.
endorsements, any of that stuff. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
So
just
the
tournament winnings.
was 29.2, and I guess the Tour Championship, the bonus you got for that was 25 million. So you add that, it's 59, almost 60 million. But
think
without that
about his-
bonus,
Do you have a
it's not
list
gonna
pulled
be-
up?
But think
Okay,
about his
scroll
endorsements
down.
and everything too, though,
Okay.
right? I mean, he's making a lot more
Yeah.
than just the wins on the tour.
Well, and that's another thing too. Is the PGA can come back and say, we're on TV a lot more than Live Golf is. When was the last time any of us really turned on and were engrossed in a Live Golf tournament?
Okay.
Yeah.
What
You
do you
know?
want me to look at here?
Well, just other like the whoever got 20th in the
Oh, you want-
money earnings for the PGA Tour.
Okay. Hang on.
You know,
that one, give me a.
But that stuff makes a difference. Like,
Yeah.
Scotty Scheffler's going to earn his 30, 40, 50 million dollars. But what about the guy that doesn't? What about the guy that,
right.
if he plays 15 tournaments, he's only made 6 or 7 cuts.
Right.
When Live Golf comes knocking on his door, what do you do?
Yeah.
And I mean, and when you're not a consistent player like that, maybe you lose your spot on the PGA Tour. You know, there's these kids coming out of college are getting better and better, and you know, you may lose your spot.
And they're seeing the money too.
Yeah.
So they're now you've got guys in college that are making decisions about what sport they want to play. They're seeing this ridiculous paydays that are coming from Live Golf and making decisions about, you know, their futures as well in terms of where they want to focus. If they, you know, they play golf but they also play another sport, why would they not? You know, I mean, the money's out there. But you know, one of the things to look at though, if we look at all the players that have gone to Live, I think the only thing that's still holding the PGA Tour together, in my opinion, right now, is Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy. Like, if one or both of those players decide to join Live, let's just say Scotty Scheffler, if he decided to go over to Live, the best player in the world, I just don't know. I don't know how the PGA Tour survives that move. It would almost be equivalent to Tiger Woods leaving the PGA.
See, all right. So I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
Go ahead.
I think Tiger Woods transcended golf. He took it from a old man sport to something that generational and kids, you know, could watch and start to play.
Right.
There weren't too many kids going around playing golf in the 1970s and 1980s. It was generally considered an older
white man sport. Tiger changed that to where younger,
multiracial players played. Yes.
Yeah, so he more
made
players,
it
which
cool.
is good for it's great for the game of golf to grow it. If somebody you enjoy playing golf, it's great to see it growing like that. And
yeah, you know, when you grab a basketball and you put up a shot, you know, you throw it up in the air, Jordan for 3, you know, or, you know, whenever you hit your drive and you say, "Oh, Tiger Woods, babe," you know, something like that. I can't remember the last time I swung a club and said, "Scotty Scheffler" or Jack Nicklaus. Like, it's Tiger Woods when it comes to golf.
But it's a different world now. It's a different golf world now, though, too. I think overall the players are just better.
Yeah, well, which is why I
even
think
during
they could
Tiger's
survive.
prime, I think the top 50, top 25 players are just that much better than they were when Tiger was playing. I think it's just that much more competitive. I think it speaks even more to what Scotty is doing now by winning and being in contention 11 times in the top 10 in what I think is a much more competitive environment.
Which is why I think that if Scotty Scheffler left, PGA would be in good hands, because the tour as a whole is better than when Tiger Woods was playing.
I think what you would see is a group of players taking Scotty. You're not going to have one person do what Scotty does, but you'll have maybe a group of 5 players.
I think Rory could.
But he's also getting to be a little bit on the older side, so he's not going to be winning as much. Maybe,
but what about the sponsor dollars?
But we don't know.
I mean, what about the sponsor dollars of the Tiger Woods of our era? He's not winning, you know, as many tournaments as Tiger did. It's just more competitive, I think. But, you know, what about the sponsor dollars? Because the best player would then leave the PGA Tour, and what's going to happen with those sponsors? Like, the viewership is going to go down.
Viewership will go down.
Ratings are going to go down. The money going into the PGA Tour would likely go down as well. I think it would be a catastrophic thing, and so I think we don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but I'm sure the PGA is doing everything they can to keep those two guys.
They're probably trying to keep them involved as much as possible. They also just announced a new was it CEO for the PGA Tour, I think, was just announced. Tiger was heavily involved in that as well. So you might see, now that you got the new leadership in place, you might start seeing a little bit more movement toward a merger, especially after the playoffs on the PGA Tour. You might see, I wouldn't be surprised to see something happen before January of next year.
Yeah. Well, and that may be, and it is better for the game when you have all the best players in the world playing in these tournaments. But to touch on, not to beat a dead horse, but to go back on what you said, if Scotty did leave, I firmly believe that a new head of the PGA, a new face of the PGA golf-wise, would emerge. Now, they're not emerging right now because Scotty is just tearing the cover off the ball when he plays. But if he were to go, how many more fans would he get when the Live Golf isn't televised as often? You know, are his
will say
endorsements going to be there if he's not on TV for anybody to see?
Liv did sign a deal with Fox. They'll be showing their tournaments on Fox. I think that may have already started.
Yeah.
So
I haven't watched one. Have you watched a Live Golf tournament?
not sat down and watched. I've had it on in the background, but I have not sat down and watched it like I would have the Masters
Right.
or
And
the
there-
US.
and there's-
but I
and-
also
and there's
only
my
do a
point.
handful of tournaments. I don't sit down and watch.
Yeah, no, sure.
I'm not sitting down and watching the Scottish Open, or I'll watch the ISCO because it's here locally. But
Yeah.
week in, week out, I'm probably only watching the bigger
watch the
events,
majors or
the
something
majors, or
local.
the the higher profile events. The
Players
Yeah.
Players
I forgot
Championship,
what they
PJ or the FedEx Cup.
yeah, I forgot what they call the tournaments. The enhanced tournaments. The
We talking about Ryder Cup.
elevated events. There we go.
Right.
The
Okay,
elevated
yeah.
events. Yes.
Well, I
Watch
mean,
those.
you've got to look. You've got to look. All right. So the incentive for somebody to leave the PGA, right? More money.
Yes.
Yep.
The other factor though is playing fewer rounds, right?
Fewer
so
rounds.
you're
Fewer rounds
more
and
time.
fewer tournaments.
54,
too. Like, they have a
54
lot
holes
more
instead
home
of the
life.
72.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that's been one of the big hangups in any sort of collaboration between the two tours at the moment is the point system, right? So how do you give somebody who's playing in Live, how do you give them points knowing they're playing fewer rounds, they're playing 54 holes? How do you collaborate that? Obviously, the PGA doesn't necessarily want to give them tour points for leaving and abandoning the tour, right? But how do you collaborate that, Adam? So, like, would you rather, if you were a golf professional, would you rather play 54? Would you like the standard 72, or would you be okay with playing 54?
How much does that
Yeah,
fourth round
how much
matter?
would that matter for you?
It depends if you're looking to get your official World of Golf rankings or not. If you don't care about that, then yeah, I'm going to play 3 rounds. If you care about getting rankings and being able to get into the majors and being able to qualify for it, then you have to have that 4th round in there. For me personally, if I can play 3 rounds and make just as much or more money and continue to win, then yeah, why would you
Right.
put
Why would you
yourself
go
through
for
that?
more? Yeah.
Yeah.
Would it be possible though to just say, okay, the Live tournaments are going to be worth 75% of the points since you're only playing 3 out of the 4 rounds, whereas or does that extra day just have too much weight in the tournament for that to really to play out that way?
It's kind of a variation. I don't think you can do the way the rules are set up now is for stroke play, it has to be 72 holes. Why, I have no idea. But tournaments that are scheduled to be played for 54 holes or less are not eligible for
Yeah.
World Golf rankings, which
Right.
Okay.
I think is kind of silly. I think there is to your extent. Maybe you could weight it differently. So, okay, 54 hole event. Yeah, you're not going to be, say there's 100 points available. The maximum you can get is 75.
Right.
However that works. Or even, but then the amount of players in the field, the strength of the field, all of that plays into the World Golf rankings.
I'm shaking my head in disbelief.
I don't-
Here's,
I don't understand. I don't really think
my,
it's-
okay. If you or I wanted to try and qualify for the Masters, there is a way that we can do it without world rankings, right? The qualifying tournaments, getting in. Yes, no, possibly.
Theoretically, yes.
Okay, okay. So
yes.
a non-PGA member,
the-
member has to win a bunch of little tournaments and bigger and gradually bigger and bigger and bigger tournaments to get
Into the Masters?
into
Or
any
into-
PGA event, into any even a major. Like there are qualifying rounds, right?
For
to
the
get
U.S.
in.
Open, for opens, yes.
Sure.
You can qualify. You have to have certain handicap ratings, things like that. In order to get into the Masters, like you said, you have to win certain
Tournaments.
amateur events as an amateur to get in.
Okay, but it's
as a
possible.
professional,
But it's possible for
it is
you
possible,
and I. Like
yes.
as many hurdles as we would have to jump. It is possible for a non-PGA member like you and I are
Yes.
to play in these events.
It is possible, yes.
Okay, then why are we not making the Live Golf Tournament players do that? Like that's my point. They left the PGA Tour. If you want to get into some of the PGA
them
tournaments
that are playing
well, then
in
earn
those,
it.
some of them that are playing in the Masters now have already qualified by winning. They have already qualified from
Sure.
And most of
previous
the-
events.
And those are the ones that I'm not necessarily talking about, but the ones that are
yeah, if they want to play in the
I wanna
U.S. Open,
curse
they
so
got to go
bad.
through.
But for the ones
they gotta
that
go
are
through the
beeping
qualifying
and
events.
griping about not being allowed to be or a chance to qualify
Right.
to play
They can
into
go
the
through-
majors.
they
Why
can go
can't
through
they
the
do the same
qualification.
thing that you and I would have to?
They do. They would have to.
They
if
would
they
have
want
to.
to.
Perfect.
Yes. Now a lot
So,
of them
well,
may choose not to.
Not necessarily, because most of the qualifiers for people like you and I are going to be amateur championships, right?
Those
So
are-
we would
that's
have
how
to
we
be
would have
amateur.
to get
So
in.
like those players would not be able to play in the amateurs and qualify that way. They would have to win one of the major events to be able to then
They would have to
qualify
do-
to get into the Masters.
They can still, but for like the U.S. Open, they can go through any of the open sectional qualifying and
Right.
get in. You can be a pro or amateur. That
Yeah.
doesn't matter to
Right.
do that. The Masters is via invitation only, so
Yeah.
you gotta win or be playing really well. You gotta
Or
and
past
they're-
champion to be
yeah.
invited.
Well, that
Yes.
or
Yeah.
they do a good job of knowing who to invite, not to invite, and who they want in their tournament. So
But it's
yeah.
limited to the PGA, or not?
No.
Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. I'm saying that wrong.
They could
I'm trying
if
to
they
get my
really
thoughts
wanted
together.
to
The
invite
world
you,
the
they
world golf
could.
rankings.
Yes.
It's based on the world golf rankings, right?
Okay,
So the
yes.
top 50
Yes.
players. That's how
That's a
it's done. And right
qualification.
now, the live players don't qualify for that, and so it makes it really difficult if they're only playing the majors. It makes it very difficult for them to qualify for for the overall rankings.
You're
going to
have to
top
pull pretty much what Brooks Koepka did last year, win both the PGA Championship.
Yeah.
Do that, or come in second in a couple of the events.
Yeah.
Or Bryson winning the U.S. Open. That you get a huge bump in the world golf rankings that way. And not only that, you also by winning one of the majors, you get invites for all the majors for 3 to 5. I think it's 5 years now.
Okay.
Certain ones you can play in, and I think it's the Open they'll allow you to play until you're 60. Same with the U.S. Open, maybe.
Yeah.
And Masters is lifetime, but.
And, this is interesting. I didn't really know this until we were doing some research about how you qualify and everything. But I did not realize that an Olympic gold medal qualifies you for the Masters.
Yeah.
That's
I think that's
really
really
I
cool.
think
I like
that's
that.
really cool. I didn't
think
realize
that's- That's fitting. Yeah.
The other
Yeah.
thing I like they started doing, this is maybe 3 years ago, is the NCAA champion, the individual champion. They also started sending invites too.
Yeah.
Which
Is that for you said the Masters?
for the
gets into
Masters,
it?
yeah. I think that's something they should have done a long time ago. I'm glad to see them doing that.
Yeah. Well, I know we got a little bit on a tangent here for golf. But
Yeah, I
think
do that.
I
Sorry,
think it's
folks.
really.
I go off on tangents.
But hey,
all the
we
time.
started with Justin Thomas, who's in the Scottish Open right now playing. So
Go JT.
Good luck to JT. There's going to be a lot with the PGA and Live. Whether the PGA tries to adopt the 54-hole format, or whether they convince Live that they can make more money out of a fourth day, which makes sense. More TV revenue, more people in the crowd, and the on 18. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. But guys, they're shifting gears a little bit. There are a lot of really, really good fall sports coming up, right? We've got
We hope, man.
high school, college. We've got professional sports kicking off, tipping off, whatever you want to call it, for fall. So one of the questions I wanted to pose to you all is, what sport this year, this fall, are you most looking forward to watching, right? So we've got a lot of sports out there. All the fall seasons are getting ready to start really in August. What are you most excited about?
I always get excited about high school football this time of year.
Yeah.
I just love seeing that. Being a Trinity graduate, as all of us are, seeing how they do is fun. And then obviously U of L football, they're looking forward to that, seeing how that's going to go with Miller Moss as quarterback. I think he could do really well. He's got a lot of great weapons, both on the outside and then the running backs. Looking forward to that.
What's your expectation for U of L football this year?
Oh, to win a championship, of course, national championship.
Let me rephrase.
Realistically,
What's your
National or the conference?
Let me
no.
Hold on.
rephrase.
Well, you
What's
gotta-
your realistic?
No,
what's your
realistic.
realistic expectation? Just in conference. What do you think about in conference? How do you think they stack up in the ACC?
I think they're probably in the top 3, personally.
Behind who? Clemson.
Clemson and probably Miami.
Okay.
We could also throw SMU in there as well, but I think they have a realistic opportunity to get back to the ACC championship
Yeah.
with
I'd agree with
Clemson at home. and then Miami's on the road. But Miami playing on the road you're playing in front of 5,000 people there, so it's really not a
At the Hard Rock.
yeah, it's really not a true road environment. And that they went there a couple years ago and went in there and won. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think realistic opportunities. They got a chance to get back to the ACC championship game and get in there. You win that, you never know. Crazier things have happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the perception of Louisville football has really changed the last 2 years. Last year really helped as well with Brom. But I think you have that. There's this kind of sense and feeling that they're going to be competitive moving forward, and it's just a different feeling for the fan base. I'm excited to see how they do as well. But Jimbo, what are you looking forward to in fall sports?
Well, I'm going to throw a little curveball with my looking forward to of fall sports. It's not high school. It's not college.
Okay.
It's not even professional.
Okay.
So my oldest made his very first club soccer team. So I'm looking forward to watching him play competitive soccer for Fall City this season. Edward, if you're listening, man, I'm your biggest fan. I'll be watching you. But as far as I'm looking forward to Louisville and Kentucky basketball. I think that both programs.
It's more of a winter sport.
You know what? No, they start in October. We're going to call it fall. They start in October. It goes through the winter, and it ends in the spring. You call it whatever season you want. I'm calling it fall. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to what Coach Kelsey can do, what Mark Pope can do, both in their second years, both with reignited fan base, more enthusiastic fan base.
Yeah.
Louisville, are they back, or was it just a 1 year flash in the pan?
Right.
Is the Pope, all hail the Pope, all bow before the Pope? Is he the redeemer that Kentucky's been hoping for, or is he going to be, leading a program that's just happy to be ranked? That's one of my fears. Are they going to be national contenders, or are they going to be, 18th, 19th in the country? And then if somebody doesn't live up to expectations, if Pat Kelsey goes 10-10 in his first 20 games, how will the fan base change? Or the same thing for Kentucky and with Mark Pope. If that Kentucky team starts off, 3-6, are they going to start calling for heads to roll? I'm looking forward to both seasons kicking off, but I'm also going to be paying attention to the fan bases and to see if it doesn't go according to plan, how quickly that narrative can change and that excitement can, be ripped out of your heart. That's what I'm looking forward to. Right. And yes, basketball is a fall sport because they play in the fall, don't they? Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
But yes, it is classified as a winter sport.
Well, I can classify it as a 3-season sport.
Well, there's a lot wrong with you.
No, I do think you pose a good question though about basketball. Two coaches that are coming into their second season. We're in this new world of NIL where we were talking about this before. I think for me it's very similar to if you look at like what Kentucky did under Calipari. Like every single year you've got a new group. Then it was all freshmen, right? It was all new freshmen coming in, and you're hoping that the team has good chemistry, that they play well, that the shots fall, that they're able to meld and mesh as a team. And I think in this new era of NIL, you've got all these transfers, a lot of experienced players, but you've also got some young players coming in. But how are they going to play together, right? Are the shots going to fall? Are they going to understand the system? Are they going to be able to play the way that Pat Kelsey wants to play or Mark Pope wants to play?
Every program, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's where you get into, okay, if you get on a 2 or 3 game losing streak, how much patience are the fan bases going to have, right? Because they expect a lot out of these two coaches and these two programs, and that's going to be a huge question, something to watch if things don't go right away, because it's basically a lot of new players on both sides.
Yeah. What about you, man? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, there's a couple things. I think Spalding Soccer is one that I wanted to shout out a little bit about Spalding Soccer because You've got head coach Adam Boyer over there and the assistant coach Darren Yeagle, who both of these guys, I actually worked for the Louisville Lightning for a while. They both played for the Louisville Lightning. Now they're in the coaching world. But they had really good success. Coach Adam Boyer and that program last year, they won the conference championship and made the NCAA tournament last year. So that's something really cool. I want to see how they follow that up this year, how that goes. But I'm also really excited about Louisville volleyball. I mean, if you look at their schedule, they have to play 16 teams that were in the NCAA tournament last year.
They have a crazy tough schedule.
It is. But, I mean, it's one of those where you're like, okay, we've got the new head coach is stepping in, Dan Meskey, who's stepping in for replacing the previous head coach. But if you look at their schedule, I mean, you've got Kentucky at home, you got Western Kentucky, who always goes under the radar, but it is a very, very good.
Yeah, they're quality. Yeah,
I would argue they're a volleyball school. If that's a thing. But
you're right.
They've got really, really tough matches. They've got to play Pittsburgh. They've got to play Stanford. They've got to play Illinois, Texas. All these big teams that were in the NCAA tournament last year, and they made that incredible run to the finals that was here last year at the Yum Center. Unfortunately, fell a little bit short. But those are a couple of the ones that I'm really looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to a lot of those early season games for them out of the kind of get out there and pack it. I think that'd be a good place to go watch some sports, take the family out there, and get out there and support them.
Yeah, we've actually
to it as well.
We've actually already got tickets for the Yum Center matches. So there's 4 games that are going to be at the Yum Center this year. So we're the producer and I we got tickets to go. To go to those matches. So those are going to be really great. I think it's Kentucky, Western Kentucky, let me see, it's Illinois, and then I think there's one more that's at the Yum Center. I can't remember which one it is now, but let's see, WKU, Illinois. Anyway, there's one more. It's a package of 4. So definitely get out. Those are great ones to go to. The atmosphere in the Yum Center is going to be rocking for this. We've got a huge volleyball following now in Louisville.
Yeah.
That'll be really cool to go see. So wanted to just briefly touch on Louisville City and Racing, because both of those teams are going to be kind of getting back into action here. Really want to start with Louisville City. They had a friendly against a La Liga team last night that actually it didn't go their way, but they got tons of their academy players in. They rotated the squad. Actually, about every 25 minutes, there were a whole bunch of substitutions that came in. I think they said 54 players played in the game yesterday.
Oh my God! So there was no cap on subs then?
No, not for the friendly. No, but it was great. I mean,
good Lord.
Louisville City dominated for large portions of the first half. It was a really good game, but they're top of the Eastern Conference. They have 11 wins, 1 loss, and 4 ties. They're leading the league right now in points. So really, really cool to go out and see Louisville City play right now. Have you guys gotten out to see a game yet this season?
I've only been to one. I took one of my boys out there. We were able to see one game, so not as much as I would have liked, but we were able to get out there and see one. Yeah, we watched them a couple times on television though.
Right.
So we're still keeping track and following along as best we can. Yeah.
No, I haven't been out there. I've watched a lot of the games on TV, but I do think it's worth getting out there. That stadium is probably one of the best in the league. For sure. I mean, it's worth going out there, and it's not very expensive. It's easy to go out there, spend good family night out there. Something if you're looking for something to do, that's a place to go.
And it's competitive soccer. Like it's good.
It's
like if you enjoy or anybody in the family loves soccer,
I would argue
get out there. It's a good time.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's especially with the crowds that come out for Louisville City. It's a great atmosphere. You've got the supporter section cheering, playing their drums, chanting, doing all those, all the songs for the team.
Yep, the whole game.
It's really cool to be there. So definitely get out and support Louisville City. We've also got Racing Louisville, who is going to be coming off of a break. They had kind of an international break for some friendlies and tournaments. And that they are actually in. This is the best position that Racing Louisville's been in since they were founded, since they started. They're currently 7th overall in the NWSL standings. And it's really their best form that they've had so far as an organization, right? They've won 4 out of their last 5. Oh, sorry, they won 4 out of 5 matches in June, which was actually one of their best streaks of all time for the team. So again, just another great thing. We've got 2 professional teams here in Louisville. I think we always talk about, I wish Louisville had more professional teams. We wish we had professional basketball. We wish we had professional volleyball. We wish we had professional soccer. Oh wait, we do have professional soccer. So
twice, yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
and so I think this is one of those things. I'd love to get your all's thoughts on this. So for me, it doesn't matter what the professional sport is, right? The city has to show that we can support professional sports. So an NBA team is not going to want to come to Louisville if they see that other professional teams are not getting attention, they're not getting support, the fan bases are not coming out, right? So I think that has a huge impact on it. And you've got, like, Racing Louisville is the top flight women's professional soccer league, right?
Yep. Yeah.
They've struggled to get fans to come to those games. So my thought process here is, if you're another league, if you're a women's professional league, if you're a volleyball league, or you're professional
WNBA.
softball league, or yes, WNBA, like, why would you want to even consider coming to Louisville if you see that those teams aren't being supported?
I mean, it's a great question. It really is, and it's hard. It's one that's hard to answer. We do clamor for a professional team in this town, and when somebody says that, it's kind of like a slap in the face to the 2 professional squads that we have here.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's hard to say. I mean, you and I have talked about this. We feel that Louisville very much is a soccer town,
Right.
but
It's
they don't
growing
always
leaps
draw
and
the
bounds that
numbers for Lou City and Racing. So yeah,
Lou City's done much better.
Lou City's
Yeah.
done pretty well, especially after
Yeah.
winning a few championships and consistently being good. Lou Racing, I don't know if it's advertisement marketing on their side, or sometimes you also just need to win. This year they are having a great. This is their best year they
deal
had.
with it. Get the players' names out too.
Yeah.
You know,
See them throughout the city doing some events, kind of drawing some crowds. you know.
I think the other big piece is you've got to give away free tickets. You have to get people in the door to start off with. What we saw with FC Cincinnati, the MLS team in Cincinnati, of course they
used to be a
they were the
USL rival.
Exactly, yeah. So they were in the USL, but
a couple years ago,
their ownership, well, frankly, they had a lot of money. They have a lot of money, right? Because
That helps.
they have to be able to buy into MLS, which was expensive. But one of the ways that they really built the fan base was giving away nearly half of the stadium every game, right? Just to start building the fan base, getting people to come in and start seeing what it's all about, understanding soccer, seeing the crowds and learning the chants and getting all those things off the ground.
Experiencing the environment.
Exactly, yeah. And so that's an area where Racing Louisville, I think, is behind at the moment. There are some games that have done well from an attendance perspective, but they're also not doing themselves a lot of favors in the scheduling. They're just scheduling some of the days that they've had some of their matches is not ideal. Some of them that are during the week, or they're on a holiday weekend, or they're times when people are not going to be available. There's other sports happening, but a lot of those are unavoidable type situations. But yes, I think they need to invest more in the marketing side of things. They actually did some really cool things to start the season for Lou City and Racing this year, where they enlisted almost like influencers, but all media personalities across Louisville were all posting and talking about it simultaneously about the start of the season. And that was a conscious, collective effort by the team to get all of the media personalities talking about it early on, to create that buzz and start getting people to go. But since then, that buzz has kind of gone away, right? And they need to continue that kind of push throughout the entire year.
They need 502 Sports.
They've got it. We're talking about it right now.
Yes, they need us and our listeners,
Yeah.
the strong force that we are, to get out there and help
Our 3
promote
listeners.
Racing Louisville. Hey, Racing Louisville, our number is not hard to find. Pick up the phone, give us a call, listen to what we got to say. We will definitely take you to the next level. But in all seriousness, I think Racing Louisville has started to help themselves too. It's hard to ask fans to come out when the team struggles.
Yeah, for sure.
So we've mentioned it a few times that they're having their best season to date, if not one of their best seasons, and it's easier to come out and support a winning club than it is a losing club. And so they've started to help themselves too.
Yeah, and let's be honest, Louisville is a bandwagon sports town. If they win, they're going to show up. That's my opinion.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to go that far. If you have a losing season, okay, but when you start to string a couple of them together,
That helps.
why are the fans? And then it's how much does it cost to go to these games?
Right.
I'm kind of referencing here the men's basketball, University of Louisville men's basketball, in that
They're treated like a professional team.
they are.
They
but,
always have been.
But now, because that's what the city has wanted, is a professional basketball squad. But when you charge ridiculous amounts for tickets,
The
and the
ticket
team
prices
wins
are not
4 games a year,
ticket prices are okay, but it's that quote unquote donation that you got to spend thousands of dollars on.
I guess that's what I'm incorporating with the price.
Right.
But people pay it.
Some.
Yeah.
Some people pay it.
Minus
It has driven some people away too when
It
the
has
team
driven some people
the
away.
team doesn't perform.
But when you had the previous coach there, obviously people didn't pay it. They didn't want to see get blown out by 30.
Right, and it wasn't that they were bandwagon; they were still Louisville fans. You, Adam, are a diehard Louisville fan. I in the midst of their losing streak, I think maybe you didn't pay attention to only a handful of games. You still would check the box scores. You would still see who's doing this and who's doing that.
I wasn't
You still
invested in it
followed
like I was last year. The year.
because they weren't winning.
Yeah,
But
but you kind of had a. I would have it on. I start get excited, and then.
But would you lose your fandom? Would you stop wearing U of L gear?
I wouldn't wear it as much, but no, I would still wear it. I wouldn't.
You're not helping my
no,
side
I'm
of the
not.
argument here.
I know that. I'm doing that on purpose. No,
feeling like
seriously, I
okay,
would still wear. I would still wear
maybe,
it.
the bandwagon
yes.
is substantiated.
It was. I would still wear it. I still wear the gear. Yes.
Well, and a lot of
I wasn't
and a
as
lot of people
invested
did.
in it as I was before. It's hard to sit there and watch your team give up and lose by 30, 40, 50 points. Nobody wants to watch that.
Right.
Sure.
Well, I mean, going back to Racing Louisville for a
But
second,
yes.
I think so. Adam, I know you're not the biggest soccer fan here. Jimmy and I, obviously, we're more soccer fans than you are. But if you were to go see a new professional team in Louisville, and they were terrible, or a professional team that was at least in contention for the playoffs and is consistently starting to win and build a program, which one of those would you want to go see?
Oh, definitely the one who's getting better in contention,
Right.
and starting to win more.
Yeah,
obviously,
but I mean, there's
that's
no
the
incentive for a new fan. Like let's use
Yes.
Adam as a
Yes.
new fan example, right?
Yes.
There's no incentive for him to come and bring his family and spend X amount of dollars, however much it is, to go to a game when the team is not doing well.
Yeah.
You're going to leave and go, oh, well, that was a terrible game. That was kind of ho-hum. Like it wasn't very good. But then if the team is winning, you start to build that fan base. You start to get the support. And then those fans who become invested, they'll still come even if things start to go south.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But Louisville, I firmly believe this. I think if you don't win in Louisville, you're not going to get as much support, right? It's just gonna, but that could be everywhere. But I've seen
sounds
that
like all fan bases.
it is, but the diehard fans are still going to be there. It reminds me a little bit of the Major League movie where the Cleveland Indian fans are sitting there in the outfield
Yes.
and they're like, you guys are terrible. And then like he's complaining every single game. And then all of a sudden they
Louisville
start
basketball
winning.
fans
He's
the
like,
last
oh, they're
couple
still
years.
going to lose. He's just saying, like, just negative.
that
but-
sounds like Louisville basketball fans the last 3 years.
Oh my gosh. Well,
3
that's
years.
fair.
Yeah.
But were you going to say something else, Jimbo?
No, I think I just was going to make a point, tried to use Adam, and he ended up proving your point. So last time I used him as an example.
There you go. Well, we've got a lot to look forward to here coming up. We've got a lot of great fall or winter sports, however you want to call them.
You can be a spring sport.
It could be a spring
whatever
sport.
you want to talk whatever you want to call it.
It's indoor sport. So we've got a lot going on here. We're going to have a lot more coverage here on 502 Sports as we get into the other fall seasons. There's going to be some really great local sports happening. Whether you like high school sports, college sports, professional sports, everything is here in Louisville. You have the opportunity to go see these events and get out there and support. So, if you're worried about the price of some of the professional or some of the collegiate games, look at all the great high school sports and athletics we have here in Louisville. There's tons of opportunity for you to go see top performing athletes across every sport here in Louisville. It's a fantastic place to grow up and play sports. There's tons of opportunities here and for fans to get out and watch the events. So just wanted to kind of leave everybody with that thought as we close our show here today. And Adam, I think you had a shout out you wanted to make on the show as well.
Quick shout out to Jordan. I know finishing up her softball season few weeks ago, first year playing softball, made the championship game. Didn't get the result they wanted, but she played great and happy to see her. She was out there trying hard. Also wish her happy birthday, and Madeline as well. Happy birthday. Love you guys both very much.
And don't worry, he'll be home soon, and we'll get some more 502 Sports gear sent your all's way so everybody can kind of rep 502 Sports when you're out and about in Louisville. And we do have a new website that's going to start being launched here probably pretty soon in the next month or so. We'll have a new 502 Sports website, but catch us on all of our 502 Sports social media platforms, and make sure you support Take Thai, our friends over there who are giving everybody a discount on their great food at Take Thai. Check out those promo codes on our social media platforms. But thanks for listening, and we hope you all have a great weekend and enjoy the start of the fall sports season. Take care, guys.